Can you see the stars align? A night like this can never.
Today we're doing something new. We're doing a Pokemon game analyzation. This is one game that I played that I think is pretty good for analyzing. This is the best way to improve on your playing skills. You go and you download your old recording when you lost a game or you won a game, and you want to see where you can improve and what you did correctly and what you did incorrectly. So let's start. This is one game where I made a few mistakes, but I made a few good things, so I want to share it with you guys. Alright, starting off, he starts with Dragonite. I start with my Ninetales because I see... Okay, so I start with my Ninetales, right? Because I feel like he might start with Dragonite because he has multi-tails. And also, like, players like these like to start with Dragonite because they can learn all the the elemental punches, which is really nice. Then he switches to Poison Fire because I'm Ice and Poison. This was a nice counter, but I went for a Freeze Dry on his Dragonite because if he didn't switch out, I would pick up the Oko, and whenever Pokemon he switched to, I would deal decent damage. So here we go. He has a Balloon, which I thought, okay, Freeze Dry was nice because it took out the Balloon. And then I got a really hacked Freeze, which, if you get something like a Frozen or a Paralyze with one of your attacks, you just want to take full advantage of it. So that's what I was doing. I immediately set up my Veil. He froze, set up my Veil. Then I decided I would switch to Dragapult so that I could use... Because this team that I built is a Hex Sweeper. I can status with Fear of Thorn, status with Toxapex, sweep with Volcarona, Moltres, or Dragapult. And Ninetales is just there for support and setting up Veil. Okay, so here I'm going to deliver an Okoing Hex, and then now we see he switches to a Bug type. He goes for a Bug Buzz, Resist, and then I'm going to, because I know this Pokemon is normally a physical attacker, I'm going to burn him. This will allow me to allow my Dragapult to do some very, very big damage with Hex. And then also, see, this is the powerful of Veil. It lasts for like 7-8 turns, I forgot. And it's just really overpowered because whatever attack from the other Pokemon deals way less damage. It's almost the same as Screens, but Screens require 2 turns. This only requires 1. It may not be as efficient as Screen, but it sets up with only 1 turn. And I have Snow Warning, which applies chip damage. So it's a pretty good alternate to Screens. He's going to go for Bug Buzz again. I resist it. And then I Hex him to death. This was a mistake by my opponent. He should have switched to something that could have resisted Hex. Like maybe he could have switched to his Dragonite, which had multi-scale. And we go into Vikavolt here. I tried for the Will-O-Wisp because Vikavolt is probably the most intimidating Pokemon. I'm not really worried about the Metagross because I have Moltres and Dragapult. So the Metagross, even though it's usually a really big hitter and a physical attacker, and he can do a lot of damage on teams, I wasn't concerned about it because I had 3 counters to it. 1, 2, 3, and they were all my strongest sweepers. So he switches to Vikavolt. I wanted to take care of this Vikavolt because it was a big threat, but he crits me with a Thunderbolt before I can get another Will-O-Wisp off. And now that I realize it, this was a mistake I made. I thought Vikavolt was a physical attacker, so I went for Will-O-Wisp. That was a bad decision by me, and now I can learn from that. Will-O-Wisp. Don't use Will-O-Wisp against Vikavolt because it has Thunderbolt. It's a special attacker. So I go for my Volcarona because it's Bug. I can get some fire damage off. And whenever he can only switch to his Dragonite, which I'm trying to bait out right now. So I can switch in my Ninetales back in after the Veil finished. So, alright, let me explain that. What I'm thinking here. I switched to Volcarona because all 3 of his 3 of his 4 remaining Pokemon are weak to it. So he would switch to Dragonite. That's what I was thinking at the time. He's going to switch to Dragonite. I can bait out Dragonite and switch to Ninetales. Ninetales is like the Dragon Slayer, okay? Ice and Fairy, it's overpowered. and Veil was ending soon, so I would be able to set up Hail and get my Veil back up. So I tried to bait out the Dragonite with my Volcarona, and the bait succeeded. He switched out Dragonite. I used Fiery Dance before. I got one special attack. I decided, hey, you know what? I might stay in and wait for my Veil to finish. Even though I am sacrificing my Volcarona, I still think it's the best decision. And then suddenly, my Veil disappears, and its extreme speed does 64. And I'm just like, damn. But that's fine. Now we're going to switch to our Ninetales, the Dragon Slayer. Okay, we set up Hail, and I'm just going to shoot out a Freeze Dry right here. He does 77, which is insane. But my Freeze Dry does KO. He got a little cocky because he knows, oh my god, my extreme speed did 64 against Volcarona. Why don't I just use it against Ninetales? Then I can basically win the game. And he used it. My Ninetales was able to tank the hit, which is insane because extreme speed isn't supposed to do that much damage. And it went for a Freeze Dry, which Dragon Flying, Ice just destroys it. So he goes to here, Sword Dances. I set up my Veil. And I think, okay, he's Swords Dancing. I think I'm just going to keep chipping off, let Ninetales. Ninetales has done his work. Ninetales can die now, right? So I just keep Freeze Drying, keep trying to get some chip. He just keeps Sword Dancing. I'm like, okay, now I'm getting kind of concerned. Like, what is he going to do? And then he switches to Metagross, which just, I'm like, why? Maybe he was trying to waste my Veil. I don't know. So I just Freeze Dry him and continue to chip off Metagross. He Bullet Punches me, expected. Metal is really good against, and I switched to Moltres. Now he has to switch to Vikavolt because Aegislash and Metagross are both weak to Moltres. So he goes for a Thunderbolt, and I said, okay, weakness poly activated. My Berserker's also activated. I won this game because I'm faster than the last 3 Pokemon. So that was the best decision by me to go Moltres as the end. Moltres sweep at the end. Get rid of his fastest Pokemon, which were these two, the Fire and the Bug, and now you just sweep for an easy win. Alright guys, this is my Pokemon analysis. I'll be coming out with another Pokemon analysis this week with another game. Same team. See you guys.